Hey there, Reverend Sully, Eric O'Sullivan, ordained on the internet. The caveat, as always, please do not burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, well, that's on you, pal, or gal, or Klingon, or Andorian, or Vulcan, or Bajoran, or Cardassian, or anyone from the Gamma Quadrant. Because today we're going to, or the Delta Quadrant rather, because today we're going to show the U.S.S. Voyager. I'm going to read a little bit from the Eaglemoss. Here we go, the Eaglemoss book that came with it. Middle reader specs. She's an Intrepid class starship. That's right. She can make planetfall. She was designed to be a smaller and a more up-to-date at the time. Hold on. Yeah. Ship then the Enterprise was. The Enterprise D was made with families in mind. The Voyager, I think, just made for Starfleet. People in Starfleet without their families. Now check this out here. There's an outline here, right here by that I'm tapping on with my middle finger. See that? That is the Arrow shuttle. We're going to get back to that in a moment. I'll show you the picture in the Eaglemoss magazine. But yeah, let's get a really good close-up of her. There we go. The NCC-74656. Captain by Catherine Janeway. And her first officer was, because of the operation they were on, the Maquis was involved. The Maquis are non-Federation freedom fighters. What they were doing was to liberate planets from Cardassian control in a rebellion type of army. So the Maquis were, I mean, it's up to you if you want to say they were a terrorist organization or not. Or were they activists? You know what I mean? What point? And it's interesting, huh? And that's the power of allegory. And so yeah, let me go through this a little bit. This is the Eaglemoss official magazine that comes with. All right. She's an Intrepid class vessel. She was built at the Utopia Planitia fleet yards at Mars. She was launched in 2371. She returned to Earth in 2378. Yes, in 7 seasons. And 172 episodes. Now, yeah, this was Star Trek. She's 343 meters long. She has 15 decks. She's got a crew of 141. Her top speed is warp 9.975 for 12 hours. In her weaponry, she has 11 phaser arrays and 4 photon torpedo launchers. And yes, planetary landings. Unlike most large Starfleet vessels, Voyager was designed to land on a planet's surface. The landing procedure starts with the chief engineer taking the warp core offline and venting the plasma from the nacelles. The con officer then brings the landing mechanisms online and sets the inertial dampeners and structural integrity fields to maximum. Technobabble. Love it, huh? The ops officer maintains for any EM discharges, electromagnetic discharges. On the final stage of approach, the 4 landing struts are deployed, and immediately before touchdown, just the structural integrity field is adjusted to match planetary gravity. After landing, the engines are disengaged and the thruster exhaust is secured. And that's the landing procedures for U.S.S. Voyager, who can make planetfall. that was really interesting. Also, its nacelles folded slightly when going to warp, which I thought was a nice touch. But yeah, it was designed but never used. Voyager's Aero Shuttle, huh? Dig that. I never even knew about that until I opened this magazine. Now, we're given later on Tom Paris's Delta Flyer, which has our own Eaglemoss, and it's, I think, a really cool counter to the runabouts in Deep Space Nine, and also to his character's love of being a pilot. Ensign Tom Paris was based upon Cadet Locarno and the Covert Star Maneuver episode of The Next Generation, where they showed off those killer Starfleet Academy uniforms. Yeah, it was a Wesley episode. Who gives a shit? I mean, yeah. I mean, he's got enough problems on his own being, checking it out these days. I've also got the entire series. I have not seen every episode of the 172 episodes of this. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be joining Raquel Briggs and Clobberin Time's Mike Alonso on their Saturday Star Treks, and I have all the resources to do so. I have all the old Trek, the 735, as they like to say, 66 through 05, the real Star Trek. Yeah, so that's my little bit of Eaglemoss love today for Star Trek Voyager. She doesn't get enough love. I mean, as a Starfleet Starship, it started the trend of no neck. And all I have is a Steve Martin joke for that. About, liking people with no necks. And I always felt that the planetfall aspect was very, very interesting. Also, how... I know that Ronald D. Moore of Battlestar Galactica was involved in this show, that he wanted to take it to a much darker place, a place of survival and of what people would do, what it would take to survive, and also the cumulative damage over the ship for the span of the show. And so by the time the end of the show, it's maybe a bit more battle damaged. He got his wish to come true in Battlestar Galactica. If you can see that progression of wear and tear on Galactica herself during the entire span of the show, and what they put that poor ship through. Constant beatings from Baystars, planetfall at New Caprica, and then that final back-breaking, FTL to find the promised land. But Ronald D. Moore got his opportunity to talk about survival, drastic survival, what it takes, and the beating up on the ship. We ended up with a really decent Star Trek show. And it took a few years for it to find its feet, like its progenitor show. It was a spinoff of Star Trek: The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. So it continued. Yeah, the overall. There was a meta story in Star Trek at the time called the Dominion War, and also how the Cardassians are oppressors. And so Voyager lasted 7 seasons. And we got Jerry Ryan in season 4, and she plays 7 of 9. She plays a Borg who is reclaiming her humanity, and she's a really, really interesting sci-fi in-universe conceit as a character about what it takes to come back from a Borg assimilation, and and it kept being a good show, and I think it landed. It landed nicely. I loved the last episode and how it resolved. And that's all I got to say today for my Star Trek Eaglemoss moment of the week. It is the U.S.S. Voyager. And I love looking at all of my Starfleet models, all of my Starfleet Eaglemoss. And it's a joy. They're affordable. They're about $30 each. You just get one a week or a month, and sooner or later, you have the whole fleet. And I'm trying to get all the Star Trek that matters, real Star Trek. You know what's available now is the U.S.S. Bozeman. That's from one episode of Next Generation. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to get the U.S.S. Bozeman. Well, you'll see sooner or later. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And give a thumbs up if you love Star Trek. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like this content. I'm a big lad. I can handle it. Leave a comment in the comment section. Continue this conversation. What's your favorite Starfleet's vessel? Did you like Star Trek Voyager? Did you feel like it could have gotten darker? Would it have been a better show? Did you like what we got? Continue the conversation. I'm a Trekkie. I'm a Trekker of the old Trek variety. So yeah, continue the conversation, please. And one day I want to earn your subscription. I would love to be part of your YouTube viewing day. I make daily content. I'm a spiritual guy, an ordained minister, amateur theologian. We often say, let's get spiritual, and we do. I'm also a professional chef. I want to give you restaurant level cooking hacks so you can make nutritious, delicious, and beautiful food for you to break bread with. Not coming from the replicator and not going to Neelix's. But wasn't Neelix such a really interesting character? He was the quote-unquote breakaway character. We also get moral conundrums like the Tuvix episode. And also we were just given like really good friendships too. I like Tom Paris and Harry Kim. And also how like Tom met B'Elanna. They never would have met if the Maquis ship they didn't have that crisis and married the two crews. It's really interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing the entire show with good company and then talking about it in geek style on Saturday nights. So yeah, I'm going to leave a link to them in the description below for Raquel Briggs and Clobberin Time's Saturday Night Star Trek. It goes on for a few hours, so bring something to eat and bring your Star Trek DVDs and bring your Star Trek source books. And you know what? Come in uniform and be part of the live chat. And you know what? I'm going to make an effort having Saturday nights off by doing that and hanging out with these great Trekkers. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Live long and prosper. And infinite diversity is infinite combinations. And never, ever forget, id plebnista. Id plebnista. We the people. It matters for the Yangs and the Kongs, or it doesn't matter at all. And this applies to New Trek and New Trekkers. And you know what? They just don't believe in id plebnista. Well, that's all I got to say for today. Thank you so very much for tuning in. It's been Star Trek Voyager Appreciation Day here. Thank you so very much. You should do the Voyager theme. Don't ask me to remember that yet. That's not it either. Shut up, Sully.